Okay, let's talk about something that can make your stomach drop. That brown envelope from the council hitting the doormat. It's a feeling millions of us in the UK know, right? That little jolt of panic. But here's the thing. What if we could turn that fear into a clear, actionable plan? Well, in this discussion, brought to you by the experts at My Tax Accountant, that's exactly what we're going to do.
You see that official-looking letter, your heart sinks a little, and a million questions start racing through your mind. It's a moment of real anxiety for sure.
But today, with the help of my tax accountant, we're going to swap that fear for facts. Our promise is to turn that confusion into a clear plan. By the time we're done, you'll know the process, understand your rights, and have a simple set of steps to get back in the driver's seat.
So let's just dive right in and ask the big question. What actually is a council tax summons? I mean, it sounds pretty scary, right? But here's the most important thing to remember. It's not the end of the road. It's the start of a process, and you know what? Understanding that process is the first, most powerful step you can take to get a handle on things.
All right, first up, what a summons means, the facts and the process. We're going to pull back the curtain on what this letter actually means, and you might be surprised to find out just how many people are dealing with the exact same thing. So stick with me, because getting this context is absolutely key. Okay, let's start with a number that might actually be a bit reassuring. In the 2025/26 tax year, a whopping 3.6 million households across the UK fell into council tax arrears. The main takeaway here? If this is you, you are definitely not alone, not by a long shot. And get this, the total amount of that unpaid council tax, it's a staggering £5.4 billion. Now, that is a massive number, and it really shows you the kind of financial squeeze people are feeling right now. It also helps explain why councils are, well, pretty serious about chasing this debt. So, how often does this actually lead to that brown envelope? Well, just last year alone, councils sent out around 1.1 million summonses. That's over 1 million families getting that letter. So please, remember this. Getting a summons doesn't make you an outlier. It's actually a pretty common part of a process that, believe it or not, you can totally navigate. So, you might be wondering, how does it even get to this stage? Well, the good news is it's not some kind of surprise attack. First, you'll get a reminder notice for a missed payment. Then, you'll get a second one. But, and this is the part you really need to know, after the third missed payment, they send a final notice. And here's the real kicker. Your entire bill for the whole year becomes due right then and there. If you can't pay that lump sum, that's when the summons is issued. Okay, so what that summons letter is really saying is that the council is applying to the magistrate's court for something called a liability order. Now, don't panic. This isn't some big trial where you have to defend your finances. The court is basically just rubber stamping that the debt is valid. But once the council has that order in hand, it gives them the legal power to use much stronger methods to get the money. And that's exactly where the costs can start to pile up.
All right, next section. The cost of ignoring it. How fees escalate. Now, this is where so many people get caught out, and I really want you to pay attention here, because understanding this bit could literally save you hundreds of pounds. Ignoring the problem doesn't just make it go away, it makes it way, way more expensive.
Just look at how quickly a debt can spiral out of control. Let's say you originally owed £1,200. Okay, manageable. But then the court summons fee gets added. That could be another 100 quid. Then the liability order fee, maybe another 50. But the real jump, the one you have to avoid, is if enforcement agents, bailiffs, get involved. Their first visit alone adds a fixed fee of £235. Just like that, your £1,200 debt has ballooned to over £1,600, and that's before they've even done anything else.
Let me tell you about James, a self-employed tradesman from Manchester. He had a slow month, got behind on his bills, and figured, I'll catch up later. We've all been there, right? But that one assumption ended up costing him an extra £310 in bailiff fees. They threatened to take his van, the very thing he needed to work. His story is a perfect, if painful, example of why talking to the council early is always, always the cheaper, smarter move.
Okay, that was the scary part. Let's shift gears now, because here comes the good news. You actually have way more control in this situation than you think. This next section is all about your proactive toolkit. These are real, practical things you can do right now to take back control, manage the debt, and hopefully dodge all those nasty extra fees.
And here's a fantastic pro tip for you, something a lot of people don't know.
Your council tax bill is usually split into 10 monthly payments, right? Well, you have a legal right to ask them to spread it over 12 months instead. Think about it. A £1,500 annual bill drops from £150 a month to just £125. That's an instant win that can make a real difference to your monthly budget. All you have to do is call them up and ask.
Now, let's talk about how to negotiate. Honestly, the number one most important thing you can do is just talk to the council. Don't put it off. Pick up the phone. Be honest about your situation. It helps if you've worked out what you can realistically afford to pay each month. They would much rather get a small, steady payment than nothing at all. And one last thing, this is crucial. Whatever you agree on, make sure you get it in writing. Okay, are you ready for something that could save you a ton of money? Discounts. Millions of people are overpaying their council tax simply because they haven't claimed the discounts they're entitled to. I mean, look at this. Are you the only adult in your home? Boom, 25% off. A student? That's a full 100% exemption. On a low income or benefits, you could get what's called council tax reduction, which could slash your bill, sometimes even to zero. There are also big discounts for carers and people with disabilities. The golden rule is never, ever assume you don't qualify. Always, always check.
And that's not all. There are even more ways you might be able to lower your bill. Here's a wild fact for you. Experts reckon that as many as 1 in 4 homes in the UK could be in the wrong council tax band. You can check yours online in a few minutes. If you're successful in challenging it, you could save hundreds a year and even get a backdated refund. And listen, if you're in a real emergency situation, you can ask your council about something called Section 13A hardship relief. They actually have the power to cut your bill, or in some cases, write it off completely. Now, if things feel totally overwhelming, like you just can't cope, please know there's a safety net. It's called the Breathing Space Scheme. This is a government program that can legally force the council to stop all collection and enforcement action for 60 days. That means no more letters, no calls, and no bailiffs at the door. It's designed to give you exactly that, breathing space, to get some free debt advice and work out a sustainable plan without all the pressure. All right, we've talked a lot about what you should do, so now let's do a quick fire round on the top mistakes to avoid. Seriously, just sidestepping these common pitfalls can make a world of difference. First up, mistake number 1, ignoring the letters. This is the big one. It's so tempting to just put them in a drawer and hope they go away. But this is honestly the fastest way to get court fees and bailiff costs piled on top of your original bill. Ignoring the problem is a surefire way to make it bigger and more expensive.
Next, mistake number 2, letting bailiffs into your home. You need to know your rights here. For council tax debt, an enforcement agent cannot force their way into your house on their first visit. So don't open the door. You can talk to them through the letterbox or a closed window. The moment you let them in, even just to talk, they gain more legal power. Your front door is your shield. Use it.
And finally, mistake number 3, not checking for those discounts we talked about. It sounds simple, but millions of people are overpaying because they just haven't checked. I heard about a woman in Glasgow who'd been overpaying for 3 years because she didn't claim her single-person discount. When she finally applied, she got a refund for nearly £900. It literally pays to spend 5 minutes checking what you're entitled to.
Okay, we have covered a lot of ground here. You now know what a summons is, how costs can add up, all the ways you can take control, and the biggest mistakes to avoid. So let's talk about your next steps. What do you do right now after this ends? Let's break it down.
Remember, taking that first small action is how you move from feeling scared to feeling in control. If you'd like some professional, friendly help to sort this out, the team at My Tax Accountants are there for you. You can get in touch with them directly on WhatsApp or give them a call on 07854 255 375. You can also drop them an email. And for more straightforward guides like this one, make sure you hit that subscribe button on their YouTube channel. Thanks so much for joining me.